Alright, what's up YouTube? I'm doing another video of the ATK. I decided to get into the WP 4054 non-adjustable forks. So you can see that I've taken the front end off. Otherwise the bike's pretty much together. I just wanted to kind of show how this came apart for anybody that wants to tackle this on their own. So this outer leg, this is the top. You can see there's threads in there, and this would be the cap. There's just a little O-ring right there. That bolt is just a bleeder, and so you can see the numbers on my cap. This is a 1989. You cannot adjust compression or rebound on these forks. So once you thread this cap off, goes right here. I think that's a 22mm wrench. Once you take that cap off, you then run into these two little keepers. And those two little pieces sit inside this cap. And so this cap would sit right here on this rod. See that little groove? So this slips on there, and that's the first thing you see is two little keepers, and they just split apart in half like that. And when you get those out of the way with a magnet, you slip this off, and then this rod is free to travel down the stroke like that. The next part you'll find in there is this broken bumper, which came apart in 3 different pieces with this little plate, and those just slip off of this rod. So once you get all that off, then you're at the bottom of the fork, and you have somewhere around here, I don't know where the bottom is. Should be right in front of me. Oh, duh, it's this long tube, and this is the bottom. And there's another O-ring, and you see there's nothing to adjust. So this came off of the bottom. It should be right here. You can see there's some threads in there. So you just pull that off, and then this guy came out. He was next. And you can see it fits right in there. There's a bunch of gunk. Then your spring is free. And the spring came out like this, with this spacer at the top. So that's how it would have sat in the bottom of the fork leg. So again, on the bottom, you take off this cap, this little guy slides out, then you pull your spring out. The next item is now you've got this tube still inside of this one. And the only way that you can get everything free is this little guy. Let's see if I can flip this around for you. Okay. So this little guy sits in this orientation right here in the top. Actually see how it presses down in there and slides. And there's a snap ring right here that fits on this little groove, because this is what you're looking at. You're looking down inside this fork, and what you're seeing is this stuff right here looking at you. And this snap ring is what holds that in. Once you pull the snap ring out, pop it off its clip, bring it off top, then this whole body can come sliding out, and it comes out really easy. You don't have to crank these forks apart like a Japanese fork. I did push the damper rod all the way out the bottom. I would not suggest doing that because there's a little Teflon seal that I had to wrap with dental floss in order to get the whole thing back in. So you don't have to take this out. You just pull everything out, and you can see the only thing on here still is this dust boot, which is in good shape, thank God, because you can't get them anymore. And there was this clip, I forgot to tell you, you do have to take this off, because this clip is sitting down here in that groove. So you pull the clip, the little spacer comes out, and then the only thing that you'll see in here is this seal. And I just used a screwdriver and worked it back and forth until it came out, and it did have a little spacer that sat underneath it. So when I get my new seal, make sure to put your spacer right in there, and then hammer your seal in place. The only other thing to rebuild is you can see there's a fairly thick bushing in here. I don't know what the availability is on that, so I'm not pulling it out yet, but I did find a way to pull it out. It's a, I think Park is the manufacturer, and it's a steering stem removal tool. They're pretty cheap. I think you can get them for 15 bucks. But if you look down there, you can see I've got a tool wedged in there at the bottom. And it's pretty simple. It's just a pipe that flares out. And it, you can see how it's flanged out, and it grabs onto that bushing. So I took a handle of, like, you know, this pry bar handle. First of all, let me pull this back out. And it doesn't take much force, you know, I can sit there by hand and just start smacking that, and I was able to move that bushing out. I just wanted to see if I could get it moving. And then if you have like a Tusk bearing puller kit, this one seems to fit really good on the other end. So you can see I started moving that just a little bit, a couple millimeter. And then that's what I would use to reinstall a new one, because it fits really good. And it has a little groove. You just hammer it down and it'll seat. Anyway, that's a full disassembly of these old school WP forks. Not really a whole lot to rebuild here. You know, I'm going to try to get that bushing and obviously a new seal. I think everything else is fine. Oh yeah, that bumper. I'm not sure if I can get another one of those, or quite honestly if I want another one of those. It's not that sophisticated of a looking piece. I would think you know, energy suspension sometimes makes little polyurethane bushings that you can get at AutoZone. And I would think something like that would be just as good, because this is like foam material or something, like a typical shock bumper, and they usually degrade anyway. I may try to find something polyurethane that fits in there. But that's it. If you can get a bumper, a seal, one of those bushings, just slap it together. And I haven't figured out how much fluid to put in yet, but I'm going to try Maxima 5 weight, because I've got a lot of it and I just can't see it making that big of a difference. So that's all the updates for now. While I have you here, I will show that I've got some of my graphics in. So I got the Made in USA that Blue Line Graphics did for me, and they inverted the colors so it's blue now instead of white. And then that 406 sticker I just kind of came up with in my brain. I thought the side of that fender would lend itself well to a canvas, and it looks kind of retro and old school and kick-ass. And plus, tells you what size the bike is, because if your engine emblems are gone, then you won't know it's a 406. So now people do. They'll be like, what is this bike, when they see it coming down the trail. So that's all the updates. Peace.